Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's episode is about a topic that I feel like I want to bring to air, but I'm sure that it's so relatable for a lot of people. It's something that I've thought about over the years and it's made me feel abnormal. The more I've been digging into it, the more I realise that I am just here for a different purpose. So let's dive into that, because I know that can sound a little bit wishy-washy. But I want to talk about how we don't feel like we fit in because we're not supposed to, and I really want to dig more into that because I know that can be relatable for some people. But we're going to explain as normal with the neuroscience, spirituality a little bit, identity, because you know that I love me some real backed science, not just the woo-woo. I wanted to start by saying that you don't feel like you fit in because you're not meant to. Perhaps you're here to lead, perhaps you're here to be different. You are here to live your potential, and deep down, I think you already know that as well as I do. But before we dive in any further, I really want to tell you something. Because if you can relate to this and you feel like you've been walking through your life like you're out of place, or you didn't get the instruction manual that everyone else got handed in life, then this video is going to be for you. And I really want you to take this and just really relate to it in a way that I know that a lot of people feel this way. A lot of people may not, and that's okay. That's just your level of consciousness and where you're at the moment. But if you can relate to this, I want you to know that you are not broken, you're not behind, and you are certainly not the odd one out. You're just operating with an identity that was never actually designed and meant for you in the first place. And let's go further than that, because I really want to dive into that in a way that no one else is talking about. So let's go. So we'll start by talking about the moment that you were born and you simply got handed an identity by the people around you, and you have been expected to live up to that. Now, what I mean is that perhaps it sounded like she's just the shy one, or she's pretty emotional, that wee one. She's really sensitive. You're the quiet one of the family. You're just the responsible one. You take responsibility. She's a little bit anxious. All these labels that are put on you. And this can be a problem because your brain, which is, as we know, your subconscious identity system, it's just going to accept all that repetition as truth. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's accurate. It doesn't mean those things are aligned with you. It's just because it's been repeated to you over and over again. So whatever you've heard, witnessed, or absorbed on repeat is going to become the foundation of yourself and who you think that you are. But I want you to really think, what if the self that was handed to you was never actually you to begin with? Because what if you don't fit in because you've been trying to squeeze your consciousness, your power, your frequency, your potential into an identity or a little box that's been built by the other people around you that never even saw your true potential? And that is where the lie begins, because you inherited all of this before you even could speak. You don't feel different because something is wrong with you. You feel different and outside of everyone else because you are remembering who you are before all the conditioning, before all the programming, before all these labels got put onto you. Now, let me explain a little bit further. So neuroscience shows us that your subconscious mind is a servo mechanism. Now, I love this term, and it's used by Maxwell Maltz in Psycho-Cybernetics. And if you have not read that book, please go and do so. I think I might be on my second or maybe my third round, but I must get back into it. Essentially, that is like our internal autopilot that's going to lock on to whatever identity feels familiar to you. And this mechanism does not care if the identity is empowering or limiting. It only cares that it's predictable, because your brain is a prediction machine. So if your identity has been built on, like I said before, being the quiet one, being the people pleaser, being the good one, the nice girl, the anxious one, the one that's responsible for everyone else, your brain is going to cling to that identity because it thinks it's safe, because it's in the familiar zone. Not because it's true, not because it's aligned to you, like I said, but because it's familiar. And this is why every time you try and expand yourself, every time you try and raise your standards, every time you try and step into a bigger version of yourself, you're going to feel resistance and your brain is going to throw things up at you. You can't do that. Who do you think you are? That's not what you do. Not because you're afraid, you're scared to do the thing, or even because you lack confidence. It's because your identity mechanism is trying to drag you back to that old version of yourself. Now, I've done a previous video on this, but your old identity is trapping you, so I highly recommend that you go and watch that. But this is why that you've always felt quote unquote different, because the identity that you have been handed was never the identity that your consciousness came here in this life to embody on this earth. Now, I just want to go through a little bit into my story and why I've kind of now become obsessed with talking about this kind of thing. So this has become what I teach because I've spent years of my life growing up always thinking that I felt like an outsider. I didn't really fit in. I moved around a lot as a kid, but I don't know if that really had too much bearing, that I never really managed to make many friends at all these different schools that I went with. And I don't say that to make you feel sorry for me. I say these things to make me relatable to this topic that I'm talking about. So I always felt like a bit of an outsider. I, would do all the different things to fit in with everybody around me. So I would drink, I would party, I would, do things that I thought would make me fit in with others. But the truth was that I never really felt like I did fit in. And I'm now just coming to realize that that is okay, because I am here to lead and raise awareness and consciousness, and that's completely okay. I used to feel like it was not okay, but now I think it's really important to realize that it is. It's okay. So every time that I felt like I didn't belong, every time that I felt like I was too ambitious, too much, too deep, I wanted to talk about these deep topics and others around me didn't really understand, that is actually my original identity, or who the consciousness I'm supposed to embody, trying to come online. But because I had all these labels and programming and conditioning and stuff, that wasn't able to come forward or come out into the world. And so when I really stopped forcing myself into that wee box, and I was giving myself permission to talk about the topics that I wanted to talk about, then I feel like that's unlocked a gate for me, and I feel like these ideas are coming forth. My intuition has come online a little bit more. So take this as your permission slip to do the same, and allow yourself to be more of who you want to be, and get rid of the labels. Get rid of the labels. I cannot stress this enough. I am this, I am that. Anyway, that is a whole nother topic that I have other videos on as well, but that has got to be one of my biggest bugbears, and I want to go even deeper into this topic because I want you to realize that that feeling that you have, the feeling where you feel like you're not entirely from here, you're not here to do the same things as everyone else, where the world feels a little bit too small, too limiting, too slow. It's not just delusion, although that massively helps, and I'm stepping into my delusion this year. It's not spiritual bypassing, it's none of that. It's your expanded consciousness remembering who you were brought here to be. You didn't come here to blend in. You didn't come here to replicate what you were taught. You didn't come here to obey the identity that everyone and the environment just handed to you. You didn't come here to live in that little box. You came here to elevate your identity beyond all that human conditioning and programming and all that other bullshit. So I want you to think of it like this. If your consciousness is the universe and your conditioning is a shoebox, you're going to feel like you can't breathe. This is why the job feels too small. This is why the relationships perhaps that you've had felt limiting. This is why the life that you built didn't satisfy you, because you built it on labels and conditioning put by everyone else. For example, I never felt like I fitted in with a 9-to-5 job. I never felt like I wanted to be an employee my entire life, which is why I started a business. And I have such a pull to have financial freedom, and it's okay to realize that these things, these stepping outside of these norms, of these boxes, is completely okay. And that, I truly believe, is because that is meant for you. Whatever you dream about, think about, want to do, that is what you are meant to do. And so you need to follow that spark. And here is a part that you really must understand. So I want you to take this away from here. Your identity is truly determining your reality and your destiny as well. So it's not your goals that you're setting for yourself. It's not your mindset. It's not your healing work, although I dislike that word so much. Let's not get that can of worms opened. It's not the affirmations that you're saying to yourself every day. It's your identity, because your identity is the instruction that your brain is using to create your entire reality. So for example, your brain is constantly scanning your environment and it's just asking one simple question. Who am I right now? Who in this moment does this person think that they are, and what are the things that they should get, essentially? So it's going to organize your behavior, your decisions, your emotions, your energy, and your perception to match the answer of that question. So if your identity is outdated, it's borrowed from someone else, it's been conditioned, you've inherited it from other people, your life is always going to feel a little bit too small for you. And you're going to feel like you don't fit in because you're not meant to fit in, my friend. That is the best answer that I can give you. You're meant to expand into this big identity that you have always meant to be. You cannot step into a new reality with an old identity. And I want to say that again, and that is the foundation of my work. You cannot step into a new reality with an old identity. And this is where your entire life is going to change if you decide to work with me. And if you really resonate with this, and perhaps you're thinking, Susie, this is literally how I have been feeling, this is everything that I've felt, but I couldn't actually put it into words, then this is your moment. Because the truth is, you don't need more confidence, you don't need more healing, you don't need to wait anymore, you don't need to feel confident, you need an identity reset. Which is why I'm so excited to say to you that I am building something at the moment that is going to be free, really easy to access, and for you, it's going to be an identity reset challenge or activation. And watch out for that, because it will be coming very, very soon. So if you would like the link to sign up, just leave me a comment below and I will make sure that you are on the list when it comes out. You're here to elevate. You're here to remember who you are, and I really want to help you do that. So I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.